All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's first and foremost. Also, honors, salutations to, double honors, to the elder apostles of GMS. And also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the elect. All right, so today's topic is going to be about I don't know what to call it just yet, but I was trying to build content for something that the brother was talking about on the text feed that we had, which was basically how the other nations, how they view us, even in this low state that we're in, which we're disenfranchised, as I always say. We don't have any real culture. We don't have any real laws. We don't have a land to call our own. We don't have anything substantial to call culture. And yet and still, the other nations they look to us for what's cool. They look to us for what's acceptable socially. They look to us for what's basically what's reasonable. What's the thing to do. When you look at pop culture today, and I'm not talking about like hip hop or R&B, which is predominantly so-called black people, but I'm talking about pop culture where you got the Justin Timberlakes of the world and the Christina Aguileras and Katy Perry's and who else can I think of? Excuse me. It escapes me right now. Oh, Justin Bieber. All of these different these kids that grew up white in the whitest neighborhoods in the best situations. Their idea of cool is doing what they see Jake do, man. So it's a true statement that we are the standard of what's hip, in other words, or what's cool or what's beautiful. We are the standard of that, and I started, going around looking for some content to put into the show, so it wouldn't be, so it had some layers to it. Wouldn't be too simple. But I found this video right here called, let me go to it real quick, called "A World Without Black People." And it started out with asking that question, and then it kind of moved into something else. How niggas keep getting shot by the police, and how every time they see a black person they see a thug, and boom boom whatever, right? And I may play it. It's not that long, but what I did was I went down to the comment board, and Esau, that's when he's at his best. So-called white man or white boys, I'll say, they're at their best when they're on the comment board because nobody can see them. You can't put a face to the statement, and it's a lot easier to say what you really feel when nobody can see you. So I wanted to read some of these comments. So remember, the question is a world without black people, right? So I wanted to read some of these comments. I'm trying to get to some of the ones with Esau let loose. Oh, here we go. It isn't a hard question. It would be a better place. Man, Esau is insane, boy. Chickens would definitely be happy. I would say no more ghetto rap shit. What else? It was a good one that I wanted to. It says, it's sad to say, but the world will be far better off, and everyone knows it deep down. This is the one I wanted to read right here. Violent crime would be much less common, and urban murder rates would be less than half of what it is now. Poverty and crime would be cut in half. Meanwhile, average test scores would triple. Right. So this is the place. These comment boards is where a lot safer. Well, this is the comment boards are the place where Esau can let loose. He can be himself because there's no face to it. There's no one to hold accountable for the statement, right? But I say this, that you can't really believe it if you don't put your face on it, you don't stand by it, because these are the same so-called white people that you work with. That, oh, I'm not racist. These are the same so-called white people that are at the post office or in your everyday walks of life, that when you see them, they smile with you, they talk with you, but the way they really feel is how you see them act on these comment boards, or where there's no face, or where you can't access them, you can't get to them to, and not, I don't want to scare you, I don't want to beat you up, I just want you to stand on what you say, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about why niggas ain't shit, or as you say, because us being in this state that we're in is primarily due to the curses that we're under. Matter of fact, let me go to that. Excuse me. This is Deuteronomy 28:15. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of thy Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right, it says, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall thou be in the basket in thy store. Cursed shall thou be. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall be. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. Right, coming into the earth and going out of the earth, meaning being born and being buried. Right. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. You see, so firstly, or primarily, the situation that we're in, the state that we're in, is due to the curses of the Heavenly Father for our transgressions, right? But with that being said, there are some things that Esau has done that has further disenfranchised us, right? So, also I want to read this right here. This is one of the staples in each lesson that we do. Oops. I always do that. All right, this is Jeremiah 17:4. It says, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Excuse me. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Right. So, when you're removed from your heritage, that's a disenfranchising of a nation of people, right? But Esau, or the so-called white man, helped to further that disenfranchisement, right? Which he created an environment where it is impossible for us to thrive. So our state is not how we naturally are. Our state is a symptom or an outcome of the environments that have been created around us. They said, like they said in that comment on the comment board, that the world would be safer, the crime would be less. But the reason why we behave the way we do is because of the environments we're put in. You can't, I was talking to this guy at my job, and we always have these deep-rooted conversations. And I'm gonna say this: Esau has no reasoning skills, right? Because they talk about slavery or the things that have happened to so-called black people or so-called North American Indian people, Puerto Rican people, so forth and so on. Like the things that happened to them are something that that was just the past, that it doesn't affect the people today. His statement was, what about the people who get out of those situations and get out of those neighborhoods and blah 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 blah. But what Edomites don't take into consideration when they're speaking of us is those people are the exception. Those people who aren't affected by the deep-rooted effects of slavery are the exceptions. The people that get out, so to speak, and become successes. And on top of that, they have to assimilate, or they have to kind of whittle themselves down to make so-called white people comfortable. So it's not a genuine success. The ones that do kind of keep their edge, or keep their what makes them Israel is the ones that play basketball or play football, and you don't really got to be too clean cut when you're playing a sport, because you're not heard much, so you can still keep that edge about you, the thing that makes you an Israelite. But those who are on the news and who get seen often, they got that funny white boy voice. Their faces are shaved, their heads are shaved bald, and they have to assimilate to make the people that are going to be watching them comfortable, right? So, again, our circumstances, our situation is due to a symptom of the situations that we've been put in, slavery that we've had to endure, and again, going back to that conversation I had with the guy at work, when you have, I brought it to a level that he can understand, and I said this: when you're a father, I said, he's not a father, he never had any children, but I said, you understand what parenting is, because he always goes back to how his father raised him. And he said that if people, would train their kids at a young age, like my dad did me, and blah, 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 blah. So I gave him that example. I said, if you believe that something that you can do to a child in his youth will sustain him throughout his life, right, then you would have to understand that slavery is something that's not just over. Because that being in slavery, and being in such a slavery that was as brutal as it was, makes the people that were in that slavery think a certain way and behave a certain way, and then they raise their children to think and behave a certain way, and then it gets passed down from generation to generation, and that slavery then is deep seated. It's rooted into the spirits of those people. And you can't discount that, because the reason why the so-called blacks and so-called Hispanics and so forth and so on, all the Israelites, behave the way they do, is because of the slavery that they're in, the captivity that they're in. Because really, the Heavenly Father set us up to be the heads of the world, right? So let's go to Deuteronomy 7, right? It says this, Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So this is what we were really set up to be, right? And the proof of it is what? Even in this lowest state, right? And you got this group called the Migos. Those dudes are It's like they look like cancer patients. Their faces are all fucked up from all the tattoos, and they just look sick. They look sick, and even in their sickness, you got white people trying to be like them, or Lil Wayne, or whoever else. You know, I don't know half of the garbage that's out there today, but you know, you still got the other nations trying to be like us, right? That's the proof of it. Even in our lowest state, even in the trash we are, you still got other people trying to be like us. You got these Kardashian women. They call cornrows Kardashian braids. Women have been getting cornrows since ancient times, man. Or block braids, or you know, my mother, when I was a kid, she used to have this hairstyle where my aunt braided her hair into like a crown. It looked like a crown. It was braids, but she did it in a way where it looked like a crown was on top of her head. And imagine that. So women have, so-called black women, Israelite women, I should say, have been having braids in their hair since ancient times, right? But now they're calling them the Kardashian braids, like those, like them women were the first people to ever put cornrows in their hair. You see, and really, what's trying to be done is they're trying to get the flavor of Israelites without Israel being here, because the goal is to wipe us out completely. That's the goal, right? To remove us from the earth completely. But if you do that, you'll be taking something out of the earth that you can't replace, which is spirit, man. The spirit of our people is what makes this world go. And I'm going to show you that too. I got the scripture I'm going to go into and look up some of these words so you can see. But let's look up some words in this one first. Let's see. Special people. Let's look up special. All right. A possession, property, valued property, peculiar treasure, a treasure. You see that? It says here, let's see what this is. Feminine passive participle of an unused root, meaning to shut up wealth, as closely shut up, right? What do you do when you have, something valuable? You put it in a vault, right? That's what that means, to shut up. Not like how we use shut up, like to be quiet, but shut up meaning, closed away, like in a vault. Wealth as closely shut up, jewel, peculiar, treasure, proper, good, special. You see? All right, let's go back. All right, let's look up what else I want to see in here. Above, let's look up that. Above all people. I hate when it does it like this. Let's see what it says anyway. Nation, people, right? So it didn't put in above, right? But I think we understand what above means, right? So let's go to real quick. I'll go to this one first. This is Matthew's. Matthew's 5:13. Okay, this is Matthew 5:13. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?" Right, and we have lost our savor, right? So he's saying, but you're the salt, but if you don't have the thing that makes you savory, what are you going to salt, right? And it's a good question, because even in this condition where we don't have any salt and we've lost our salt, right? People still trying to be like us, right? And I want to show you something in the scripture in a second. It is thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men. And that's us. We're trodden underfoot, right? Even though we're the salt of the earth, we've been trodden underfoot by men because we've lost our savor. And what is the thing that makes us savory? It is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that's what we lost. But we're now at this time getting that back, you see? But I want to show you something. I looked this up last night. I want to show you this. Right, so it's this word salt here. Now check this out. Okay. So let's play it really quick.
Strong's G 217. Halas. Halas.
Halas, right? So let's look down here. It says salt, which food is seasoned and sacrifices are sprinkled, right? It says those kinds of saline matter used to fertilize arable land. Okay. Now look at this. This is one I really want to get. Salt is a symbol of lasting concord because it protects food from putrefaction and preserves it unchanged, right? So let's look up this word, putrefaction. I did it last night, but look it up again. Right, so it says the process of decay or rotting in a body or other organic matter, right? So if Israel is the salt of the earth, right, then without us, right, as this video asks the question, right, without a world without black people, then would mean that the thing that the salt is being put on would rot or decay. So without us, right, to sustain this place, it would decay. One of the brothers in our camp, the elder brother there, the elderly brother, I should say, Dawudah, he's a writer, and he wrote this excerpt called "The World Without Black People," which is interesting because that's what the name of this video is. But he wrote this excerpt. You know what? I should make it a point to try to get it out to people. But he in the book he did the the research, and in the I'm sorry, not the book, but in the passage or excerpt, he went into all the things that we use in our everyday lives that so-called black people have invented. Like there are things that we use. And and in this video, one of the Asian people in there said, "Damn, there wouldn't be any hip hop. That sucks. I love hip hop." But we've created more than just hip hop. All the so-called music, or all the genres of music that you listen to, have been created by Israelite people. Blues, jazz, rock, all these different genres of music are created by Israelite people. Because we are musical people. We have a scripture. I mean, a book in the Bible called the Psalms, which is nothing but songs. You see, so music was created by our people. You see, so not just hip hop, but all music, right? So if we were to leave, this world would decay. It would rot away. And there would be no purpose. It would be no purpose, All right, so I'm gonna play a little bit of this. I might comment here and there, and then I'll get out of your hair. All right, so this is it. The World Without Black People.
Perfect. All right. Perfect. So are we both at the same time?
Yeah. I'm not doing it solo, bro. All right.
Look at you.
Yeah. All right, so the question is, what would the world look like without black people?
Whoa. That's a hard question.
Oh, wow.
Without black people.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be here.
I mean, we wouldn't have a president.
It would look all white.
The world would look like Hollywood, I think.
Be kind of bland, kind of vanilla.
Music, as you know, would not exist.
I don't know what my soul would be like without Brian McKnight.
There would be no hip hop. Oh crap. That would suck. That would suck a lot because I love hip hop.
Listen, if people love black people as much as they love black culture, everything will be fine. Everyone loves black
Right,
culture.
I wanted to mention something about this. You said if people love black people as much as they love black culture, then everything would be all right. Black people don't have no culture, man. We don't have culture. We got this, scraps of what culture is. Just like in slavery when we were being fed, it wasn't real food. It was scraps of food, right? The chitlins and the ham hocks and the pig feet and all of that shit. That was what was left of the pig, you know, and we kind of made a meal out of it. It's the same thing with what people are calling black culture today. It's not really culture. It's just the scraps of what was left of what culture is, you know, because in any culture you'd have music, right? You'd have a standard of living, right? We have, you know, so-called black people have some kind of, you know, rule or standard. There's certain things that they don't do that, you know what I mean? It's not righteousness, but there's certain things that we still do, you know, that, you know, makes us separate from other nations of people. But there's no real culture, right? There's no real thing for people. They just like what we are, you know, the spirit. Matter of fact, I wanted to show you this real quick. This fucking Edomite chick right here. Look at this shit here.
I'll be in LA, I'll be in the South, trapping hard all day.
Yeah. I forgot it was that short. Look at this shit.
I'll be in the South, trapping hard all day.
Yeah, that bitch is having a blast, man. So what would you do? What would she do if there was no, you know, so-called black people in the world? What would she do? That chick was having a blast, man. Let me go back over here. But that's what they call culture, you know, this horrible music that we have today.
They love black culture, but when it comes to black people, they're kind of, let me grab my kid, let me touch my purse a little tighter.
Yeah. Growing up, there was a white kid who told me that he didn't want to play with me because my skin was dirty. And I came home and I told my mom, Mom, wash my skin so I could play with all the other kids.
I can tell you how many times I've been asked, oh, you know, deliver this and wheel this around, that I'm a delivery person. I am, you know, the patient transport person. I'm not a medical student who's there to sort of care for patients.
We've been put inside of this box that we can only be ignorant, that we can only come from single parent homes, that we can only participate in games.
The truth is that being black in America is like walking through the store and people are scared of you, or
being stopped by law enforcement for no real good reason.
When we have dreadlocks.
Now it gets into self-pity. I don't want to really listen to the rest of it, but you know, the reason why I played this is, or the reason why I selected this, because of all the comments down here on the comment board. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I just wanted to talk about that really quick. You know, Esau, you know, they hate us, but they love us. You know, and really a world without us would be it would be pretty awful, you know. So that's it. That's all I had. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, and also honor and salutations to all of those who are of the elect. And with that, we'll say shalom.